A lot of people talk about having a why in their life, but do you really know your why or how to discover your why? To hear our thoughts, listen to this episode of The Den.
The Den, powered by the Lyons Group, a show dedicated to exploring hot topics in real estate, local happenings, and industry trends. We're a small team of professionals approaching $400 million in sales and nearly 2,000 local transactions. You're listening to time-tested experts and industry leaders. Here's a refreshing look at real estate happenings and more. Welcome to The Den.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of The Den. Today, we're going to be talking about your why in life. And they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. But before I get to that, let me introduce my friends, my partners, my co-hosts, the fellow members of the Lyons Group. To my left, Paul, Hammy the Rockberry, Aspen the Ninja Groen, and the boss, Shannon Martin Martinez. And my name is Ben. Why not Lyons? And that's usually what I say. Hold my beer when I. Oh, stop it!
I was going to say Paul was calm during the introduction. For once.
And he is over there snickering, yeah.
Well, no, your why.
Your why, yeah. I got to get a little animated.
He's serious about it.
I am.
This is Ben's topic right here.
This is my topic. I love this because I think if I weren't in real estate, I would really...
You'd be a motivational speaker.
I would be probably a motivational speaker.
You would.
Yeah. I know.
He would.
You'd be good at that.
You would, yeah.
Thank you. I like understanding why we do what we do, and I like trying to always improve on what we're doing. I like what you had said one time is we're adults. It's our responsibility to try to be better, which is cool. And I like helping people get better. And so in today's episode, this is completely unscripted and it's a surprise to my partners, but I'm going to go down the road and we're going to see. So who's staring at me? Paul.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. Darn it.
PG, Paul. Keep it PG. No, but I think what we need to do is talk about, because the why, right? Let's talk about the why in your life. That's really what drives you to make your decisions, what helps you get out of bed in the morning, whether it's a physical, emotional, spiritual, financial goal. What is your true why and why are you doing it? So I'm sure we all have some thoughts on what that specific why is for us in different areas. But I really kind of want to go through, because a lot of people don't understand how to find out a why. And it's really important, because if you don't know what that reason is you're doing something, that is a direct correlation to your longevity in it. And so Bryson's a great example because he had to have a why to complete an Ironman, because there's so many times along the training that he did that so much goes into a race like that at some point you question, what the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. Right. And especially when it comes to race day and you're 12 or 14 hours deep into it and you're like,
and you have 13 miles left.
13 mile, a half marathon to go after doing 125 or 28 miles. You really have to dig deep. And that's where a why to me becomes very important. And so I think we're going to go through a little process today to maybe discover some whys. And we'll see. I know Paul's looking at me like, what are you doing? You remember Beaker? Beaker was like the science experiment. Me. Yeah. The chef, Marcus Morgenberg. You remember, see, you're too young for this. Yeah. But you remember the Muppet Show?
I do.
Yeah. And you got the...
I'll tell you later.
Yeah,
I know what it is. I just didn't.
Yeah. The Muppet Show. Okay. So let's go down. This is just a little exercise. But I think one thing that I read, and I actually went through this a while back, was questioning yourself or having a partner that you question to kind of dig down to a why. Really, what is your why? And so, Paul, I'm going to use you as an example, and maybe we'll work our way around the room or not. So it depends on how much.
Let's just stay on Paul.
Let's just stay on Paul.
Maybe Paul will figure out what he wants.
Yeah,
let's stay on Paul. Let's get Paul figured out today.
Paul's looking at the timer.
We're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, you guys have your whys, I guess.
Let's get him figured out.
He's looking at the clock like a fighter on his back. Oh my gosh.
If I have a different career after this conversation, it's on you.
I love it. Okay, so let's talk. I want to ask you some questions. Okay.
He has no notes.
I have zero notes. I'm making this up off the top of my head, and this is all impromptu. But Paul, you go to the gym almost every day, right?
Okay.
This is the point where you say,
Sure.
Yeah, it
sure.
was a question.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Have you never
So-
done improv? Yes.
Yeah,
and.
yeah.
Yes, and
Yes. And so my first question is, why do you go to the gym?
nope.
Yeah. We're going to do
So-
it. You
so-
want to do it? Yeah.
No. Well, I go for a lot of reasons. It's therapy for one. It's I'm getting older, so I need to stay in shape.
Okay, hold on. One answer at a time.
It's not one answer.
Yeah,
though.
one answer at a time through this exercise.
I know my why.
Okay. Are you going to share it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. But I want to get down to it a little bit. Are you okay being vulnerable right now?
I have to.
Yeah, you
They're not in on this. I
Do
guess
we
all
have a
improv.
choice?
Don't worry, Paul. If you cry, I cry.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'll cry with you.
We're not
Okay.
crying.
Okay, we're not crying.
I'm
Good thing nobody watches this.
I cry at everything.
Yeah.
I do too.
yeah.
Don't cry.
So don't cry.
You guys cry. I
I'm tearing
cry.
up right now.
I was like, I'm about to cry right
now. Okay. You want me to start with Shannon? 'Cause
No.
I'll start with Shannon.
No,
Shannon,
let's-
you want- yeah.
What are you going to do?
No. Keep going.
Okay. So why do you go to the gym, Paul?
To be strong enough.
To be strong enough. Okay. Why, Paul, do you want to be strong enough?
Just cut to the chase. Just ask me what my why is, because I already know
Yeah.
it. You're gonna be all
Okay, but-
This is gonna get all.
It's all
I don't want
right.
to be vulnerable right now.
it'll be okay. So you want to be strong, but why do you want to be strong?
So that I can be prepared in any situation.
And why would you want to be prepared in any situation?
Because there are those that are less prepared that I need to be there for.
Okay. And so why do you feel like you need to be there for people that are not as prepared as you?
Because I couldn't live with myself if somebody got hurt and I could do something.
I'm going to have to take a break. See, this is how powerful it is. Because we're 4 questions in, right? And I'm tearing up.
Well, because I know my why.
That's right. So I think it's important that you ask these questions. You should go 6, 7 questions deep with why you're doing it, because you get to a point where you go, and why is that? And why is that, Paul? So let's skip to the next few questions and go into what your why truly is. Why do you go to the gym?
Well, it's not even to the gym. Why is it that I do anything? It's to protect those I love.
Okay. So
That's it. That's my why.
pretty powerful why, you know?
And you've all seen it.
You're a protector, you know? And that's fantastic. But I think for our viewers, understand this is an emotional, few questions. I mean, we're laughing, but you get down to it and it's like, man, you really start digging into why you do things, and you're a protector, right? You look out for the people that you love, and some people that maybe you don't know, that are strangers, that you would stick your neck out for and protect them in a vulnerable situation. And I'm here I am taking you into a vulnerable situation.
You son of a gun.
But it's because I love you, right? And I want the best for you. And that's why we're doing this exercise right now. But I think it's a good exercise because you can do this with a partner or a friend. You can do it with a spouse, a loved one. You can have these conversations because it's really, now you have this emotional connection to why you go to the gym. Why do you show up, right? You're a protector. It's not about because I want to be big. I got big muscles. Oh, sure. I mean, it can start out like that, but that's a weak why, right? Ladies, what are your thoughts on that as far as digging down into a why? How deep do you need to go, and how much impact can it have in your life if you really connect emotionally to something? So Aspen, you want to go through the exercise?
Sure. I think I almost go like everything. If someone does something to me, though, I'm like, they probably had a bad childhood. Like I that's just how I think, though, because I feel like I've done a lot of work on the back end stuff. So if someone is like acts a certain way, I'm like, they probably have their guard up because of this. So I do think I already do this quite a bit. And Bryson and I do this a lot too, like the back and forth. So
you want to go through it?
Yeah.
You want to try it?
Sure.
Okay. So you want to retire in 10 years.
8 now.
8. So we're down to 8. Gosh dang, you've been with us for almost 2 years now. So
it's going quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no
going
kidding.
quick. Yeah,
You're almost ready to retire.
I know.
You
So
better start planning your party.
I'm like, oh gosh. It's getting closer.
Why do you want to retire in 8 years?
I think the biggest thing that it's come down to is I had my daughter in high school, which means kind of a lot of opportunities were different. I wanted to go to medical school. I was doing school, working full time. It just wasn't with a daughter. It was not super realistic. So that's kind of whenever I started the entrepreneur, doing that honestly, it's a very stressful job. So it's not that I want to stop working in 8 years. It's that I want to be able to just breathe and not be like, okay, well, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And just be able to not stress about money or insurance or paying for the kids' college. Or, I mean, even I'm so stressed about the kids turning like, you see these people who are in their 70s having to work still. And I'm like so nervous about that for my kids. So I'm like, the stuff that I'm doing now is to set them up, not for, a little bit when they're in 20s, but really for like much later in life, whenever I feel like you're not going to have anyone really to help you then. So that's my biggest thing. It's not that I want to stop working. I love working. I actually started going back to school again. I love doing something. But the thought of like, I'm just so sick of chasing stuff all the time. So just being able to like have a goal and kind of financial freedom, but more so just financial security.
Let's dig into that. So you don't want to worry. You don't want your kids to worry. So why don't you want your kids to worry?
I don't think I don't want them to worry. I think you need a little bit of struggle early in life. Like when you're in your 20s, you got to struggle through it a little bit, because otherwise you're just going to be, flippant with your income and with your choices that you make. But, yeah,
taking notes.
I know. I'm like, what are you writing down over there?
We had surmise in the last one, flippant in this one.
Yeah.
But
I'm learning.
I just don't want them to not be able to retire. Like I'm really worried about that. I think because I don't have a retirement. I mean, I have some stuff in place, but it's a big like later in life fear of mine, and I do not want them to worry about that.
So your fear of why does your fear of not being able to retire motivate you?
I just think like the world is so big, and I don't want to work forever. I want to be able to go like explore and spend time with my family and meet people and put my phone away, and you just can't do that in this job. You really have to be very present. So
you want to disconnect.
I want to disconnect.
Yeah. So why do you want to disconnect?
It's just peaceful. I like a slower life, but I like nicer things in life too. So I know that those things can kind of go hand in hand, but yeah. And especially I think these last few years with how the cost of everything has increased so substantially, I think we do see a little bit more of people who are on like fixed incomes who are in situations that they can't get out of and are really struggling right now, having to sell a house just to make ends meet. And I just don't want that. You never know what's going to happen in life. Who would have thought that in these last few years, things would have gotten as expensive as they are?
So why are you seeking peacefulness then in your life?
One thing about like money, I guess, is me and Bryson never argue about money. We never have. It's never been a thing. I just don't want them to worry. I want, if like Logan has a goal, she wants to go to Yale. I want her to go to Yale, and I don't want her to get student loans for it. I don't want that hanging over, that burden on them. It's not for like the most extravagant things. I just want them to have whatever they want and not have to like, the sky's the limit, and money should never be the limit for those things. So that's kind of it's more just like a security thing, an actual goal, because I love working.
Yeah.
I love my job.
So why do you want more security in your life?
Well, I moved out whenever I was very young. I'm close to my parents now, but they have a lot of kids. I think everyone's just doing the best that they can. And I think the one thing of like parenting is like, I hope my kids are better than I was. And I like to think like I'm taking the lessons that they gave me, lessons that they learned from their parents. And every generation just doing a little bit better, learning a little bit more, being a little bit more empathetic and secure. And I mean, I moved out very young and they had young kids at home still. So I did feel, one thing with me though, is I always had the security where it's like, if I knew if I was absolutely at my rock bottom, needed help, I always had help.
You had the parachute.
They were very much a get out of the nest and fly.
Yeah.
But if something happened, I had people I could call, and I want my kids to know I'm there too.
So your why, so we went about 5 questions deep. We didn't go full 7, but your why is you want to provide your kids the opportunity to not have to stress or worry about their finances or taking care of their parents. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I just want it to be, I just don't want ever something like money to be the reason that I don't think they should not struggle. Sure. I do think the struggle is important, but not when they're in retirement age and maybe I'm not here to take care of them or like figure it out anymore. I want something for them.
So you want security for them.
Yeah.
For what reason? Because you're okay with them struggling. So
Yeah,
so you want security for them for what reason?
Because here's the thing. If they're struggling while I'm alive and they hit their absolute rock bottom, whatever that might be, I know I could help then. What if I'm not here anymore? Who's going to help them then? So it's just one of those things. I just don't ever want them to be worried about, can they afford a retirement home? Like that to me is like the most like stressful.
Yeah.
I don't want to say smart enough, but I just like, I look at money very differently. It's more of like a puzzle piece. And so I'm like, okay, I know I can do this. I know I can figure this out for my family. And Bryson has worked his butt off at the fire department and construction before that. And he has done the like jobs, like the 9-to-5 job. So I can do this stuff. And I'm like, it has to be worth it because he's like, whatever weird thing I've wanted to do, because real estate is not the first thing that I've started doing. He's just always been like, whatever you want.
But your why for showing up, and it's fair to say your why for showing up is connected to your kids' security.
Yeah. And just like,
and then to your security.
Yeah,
obviously.
mine too.
Yeah.
I'm included in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the thought of like peace with my family is it just feels like not something that's happening right now. And not that there's any like, pressure or anything right now. We all get along really well. It's just like the thought of just living. It sounds really nice.
Yeah, instead of always chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Shannon?
No, I don't want to do this. You know way too much about me. You're not going to do this to me.
See, it wasn't as easy, was it?
Yeah, no, we're done here.
You were done? We're done? We don't want to...
Look at the time.
Yeah, look at the time. Come on. So I need to know. So you show up for work every day. You always have. You showed up for 20 plus years with me. Why do you show up for work?
I just need money.
Yeah. And why do you need money, Shannon?
No, I'm kidding. Actually, I don't have to work. I did for a lot of years. Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't have to work because I'm like really well off. It's not that. I have a husband who would love to have a stay-at-home wife. So I don't have to. I don't have anybody pushing me to work. I need to do it just for me. I show up every day just for me.
And why do you show up for you?
I need to be relevant all the time.
Yeah. And why do you feel like you need to be relevant?
Well, see, now you're getting a little too deep. I feel like, I spent a lot of my life being insignificant, a lot of my life being maybe not in control of things, a lot of my life, maybe depending on people that I couldn't depend on. And so I have always felt, even though I have a wonderful husband at home, I have no insecurity that he wouldn't be there for me. I'm always going to have my own money. I'm always going to have my own job. I'm always going to have my own resources. And it's not even about him. I'm always going to be capable. I'm always going to be able to take care of me. I'm always going to be able to take care of those around me that I love. I'm always going to be that person, regardless, even if I won the lottery.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that I'm relevant and I'm capable at all times.
And you're the stable, you have stability.
Absolutely.
Why do you think it's so important to have stability in your life?
I just don't feel like I always had that. And not to be crappy to my parents, not to be crappy to people in my life throughout my younger years. I never felt in control. I never felt, secure. I've always had feelings of insecurity my entire life. And I'm at a point now where, it feels pretty damn good that I don't need anyone. Mm-hmm. And that's very empowering to me.
Yeah. And so you can see, I'm going to let you off the hook there. I'm
Thank you.
Hey, we got three.
I was so much shorter.
We got 3 questions into yours, and I teared up like a baby.
Tears on my crap.
Teared up like a baby. But I think, it's just so important for people to understand, like, look at the emotions around the table here. Like, you have to be emotionally connected to why you're doing something. Why are you showing up, chasing down deals, dealing in this is a hard industry. Real estate sales is not for the faint of heart. It just isn't. It never has been. You have to be a top performer. You have to be stable emotionally for most of us, most of the time.
Right.
I go off the rails every once in a while. But, it's not an easy industry. So asking these questions for you, and you're looking and wanting stability, right, in a very unstable industry. Mm-hmm. And you found it. Mm-hmm. And you've got it. So to you, your why is being able to prove to yourself, correct me if I'm wrong, but your why is very much about proving to yourself that you have what it takes to be standalone, independent, and stable in the eye of a storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a big why. There's an emotional connection to it. And I think it's just really important that whatever you're doing, whatever industry you're in when you're watching this, or whatever you're doing in the weight room, or whatever side business you're chasing, or, whatever it is with your family, like, why are you doing it?
So when are we going to talk about yours?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Ben.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're not done.
I think we're almost out of time.
We got time.
No, we wrapped up me early, so we had time for you too.
I'll start. I have a first question, but if you guys want to jump in, because I didn't know we were going to be doing this whole thing.
I'm open for it.
Okay.
All right.
You have obviously been very successful in your real estate career. You did not need to start the Lyons Group. Why did you decide to do that?
I started the Lyons Group. This is a funny story because we went to an R4 event, which is a real RE/MAX company-wide event. And there was a gentleman, a speaker that came up and he said, he asked what people were doing. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And RE/MAX is full of a lot of top producers across the country. And he said this, I would come into your market and dominate you. And that didn't sit well with me because he was right. Because we're not doing those things that we should be doing to elevate our industry. And then I felt compelled to maybe elevate what we're doing and build a team of like-minded individuals that believe in a bigger cause, bigger than ourselves. So that's why I started the Lyons Group.
Why do you think you need to elevate something that you were obviously doing very well?
Because I feel like when I challenge people to become better, I'm also challenging myself to become better. And when you challenge people and yourself to become better, then everything becomes better.
Why do you think you need to be better?
Because I feel like it's your cause, it's your journey to become the best that you can at whatever you choose to be.
And I'll say this about Ben. He's always, when he's not doing anything, he thinks he's failing.
Why do you think you need to be the best?
I don't necessarily think I need to be the best. I think I need to be the best version of me.
You know you are.
I'm the best version of me. I hope I am. I hope I am.
Well, I think the ends aren't the goal there. I think it's the pursuit that is the actual end of that goal. The pursuit of being the best version of you
never ends.
Is the point. And I think that's commendable.
I appreciate that. And the process of pursuing is perfect within itself. I just came up with that.
Right.
No, that is an old thing called Kaizen, and that was a thing we studied in college. It was actually came out of Japan after World War II, and they came up with this concept. They were rebuilding Japan. This concept of Kaizen came to the forefront, which is the constant pursuit of perfection, whether it's whatever you're pursuing. That cycle of pursuing perfection is perfect within itself because you'll never achieve perfection. You just won't. But that process, speaking to what you're saying, Paul, is important because that is perfect within itself if you really put your heart into it.
Well, and it's choosing. I mean, every day you have the choice to do. We talked about this in another podcast, is choosing to either pursue your goals or to take a day off. Or if you're constantly choosing to go towards that goal, that's perfection.
Mm-hmm. Movement, motion is the universe's language. It is. I love it. This is emotional stuff. I mean, we're being pretty vulnerable right now, and I love that part of it because I think you have to connect with people on that level, and you got to connect with yourself. How important is it to connect and understand why you may do some things?
Can I say something?
Sure.
I think the best part about the Lyons Group, to go back to why we wanted to start this, you say it's like-minded people. I mean, yes, it is, and we're all at different levels and different points in our career. But I think what this does is not. If you take the business out of this, we are creating the best versions of each other and the best versions of ourselves because we don't ever want to let each other down. We don't want to, slack off and leave somebody else holding the bag. So I think this group has allowed us not to elevate ourselves, but to elevate each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think having people that are honest with you too is a really important thing that I don't think happens very much nowadays. Having people who actually want the best for you and think there's enough, it's a abundance mindset. There is enough for all of us. We can always be going to the next thing. There's always enough. So I don't need to block you to build me up. And I think whenever you're surrounded by people who, no matter what your goal is, if you quit real estate today, we would all still be in your corner. I mean, any of us, it's just, I think that's really a special thing, and you don't find it very often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that. And I think, for me, when I say like-minded people, to play off of what you're saying, Paul, I actually mean in the spirit of people that have the same standards. Because I feel like you all have the same standards that I do. Mm-hmm. Your standards are high. Like, you want the best from yourself, mm-hmm. and you really genuinely want the best from others. And specifically in this group, we want the best for each other, but we also want the best for the people we work with and our family members.
Bryce and I talk about that a lot. I'm like, I expect so much from him. I expect so much from our kids. And I hope that they expect the same from me, because I'm going to give out what I expect to receive back. And same for my friendships. It's important to have high standards, mm-hmm. not unachievable ones and not judgmental ones, but boundaries almost, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the one thing from this group that I love is we don't expect anything from each other. It just comes. Mm-hmm. We don't take from each other to improve ourselves. It's just given.
Yeah, no entitlement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everybody gives. Everybody gives what we can. Yep. And speaking of standards, we've had high standards for a lot of years, Shannon. We've been through a lot of things together. And I really have to say thank you for always holding me accountable for all the years until I met these two yahoos, right? Which now you have a shared load. Right. You're not carrying the boat by yourself. But I cannot speak highly enough of my partners. And I didn't know where this episode was going to go. I just wanted to get it out on the table, because I think, being vulnerable is not easy. And I think everyone was vulnerable today, because we feel like we want to connect with the people that are around us, and we want to make an impact for the better. And being vulnerable allows us to do that. It also allows us to understand what drives us and what is our true why. So I encourage you to take the same practice, go through it, ask yourself some questions, but more importantly, if you can find a partner, go 7 questions deep and really ask, why are you doing these things? Because when you get to question 4, 5, and 6, the emotions start coming out, because there's some stuff down there that really drives your decisions on why you show up. And when you connect that to what you're doing on a daily basis, every day getting out of bed, when you connect that emotional component to what you have to do every day, it makes a big impact in your life. So thank you for listening. This is a great episode. Thank you all for being vulnerable. Thank you for being my partners. And if you like our content, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to sjcbroker.com and schedule a consultation with any one of us. We'll be happy to help you. But more importantly, work on your why. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Den. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to The Den, powered by the Lyons Group. Hit the subscribe button to keep informed on real estate happenings. If you'd like to learn more about the Lyons Group, visit sjcbroker.com. Complex markets require complex strategies. The Lyons Group can give you a true advantage in any market. Whether you're buying or selling, residential or commercial, contact us directly at sjcbroker.com. We're time-tested experts with a client-first approach, and we'll see you next time in The Den.